in a big event.
Yeah, if you ever got to watch the Hall of Fame induction ceremony for Rodney Morris, he kind of brings up something funny with Earl, how, you know, Earl beat him the first 4, 5, 6 times they played. And after they got done playing, you know, Earl consoled him and said, hey, you're a champion. You're going to be a great player. Don't let that bother you. You know, you're going to win plenty. And, of course, the first time he beat Earl, you know, Earl turned around and told him how lucky he got afterwards. So pretty funny stuff.
So that was yesterday. On to today. And Gerson Martinez of Peru is getting us underway. This is on the loser's side of the draw. So it's race to 8. If you get through this round, you then need to win one more match to make it to single elimination.
Yeah, you can hear all the balls being broke. It's awesome to hear. And, you know, all the players, of course, day 1 to get started. It's an important day. And day 2, of course, essentially is day 1 for half the field. But this is the day you start to move into position. You got to start playing your best pool. And here with an open shot on the 2, and it looks like a possibility of breaking out the 3-9.
I know you feel that Martinez is someone who perhaps, when he has been thrust into the big stage, suffers from nerves a bit.
Yeah, you know, he's kind of an edgy player anyways. If you watch, there'll be a little movement at times. You know, like most of the players at that level that do have a little movement, it's usually after the shot. But when the nerves are high, and they're certainly going to be here at the U.S. Open, that movement can come a little early and cost you a few shots. And for a youngster, Eric has been in a lot of these situations, playing in a lot of big events, and I think he's actually maybe going to be a little more calm than Gerson.
Do you feel, given the relative lack of experience of both players playing in a big match on one of the main tables, that this could come down to who makes the fewer bad mistakes?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't, you know, the tables are playing tough, so we don't foresee, you know, any player not getting opportunities in a match. It doesn't really matter who the opponent is, and so you figure them to both get opportunities. And yeah, maybe it could come down to a couple big shots, but you know, who makes less mistakes overall is definitely most likely going to be the victor.
Sorry to make you feel old so early in the day, Jeremy, but Eric Roberts was born the year you won the US Open.
Well, I didn't think he was even 20. I've known Eric now for about 6 years, I guess, 5, 6 years. And again, a player who's, you know, been in some big events, and he usually comes away with some, you know, some scalps, you might say.
Yeah, turned 20 in March of this year.
About as nice a human as you'll ever meet, and always positive.
Interestingly, when he came in today, and I was talking to him, and he was asking for directions, actually, because he didn't seem to know he was playing in front of the cameras. And when I told him, there was no flicker of emotion from him. It didn't seem to faze him in the slightest, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, for a young man, he's always been pretty cool, and you know the butterflies and everything's moving inside, but he keeps it together. And like you said, whoever gets to knock some balls in first, right, makes a nice clean out, you might say, and that may go a long ways between these two early. And there you could see a little of that movement I was talking about, and again, you're going to see it from Gerson pretty much every shot.
Yeah, even from the overhead there, you could see it. Flung himself at that.
Oh, he caught a double kiss, and that's a kind of a, you know, a mistake you won't see very often from any of the players, and almost kind of pulled the trigger like there was a shot clock, or maybe the stretch got him. I'll tell you, if there's anything that could settle you down, it's ball in hand.
He's already missed this 2-ball a couple of times.
Okay, the 2, 3, 4 shouldn't be a problem. He's got to start to work on the 5 with the congested 6-ball near the 7. And he's already overrun his mark by some piece, and shouldn't be a problem, but definitely much more difficult than it should have been.
He's wearing the Peruvian shirt there, represented Peru at the World Cup in Spain earlier this year, playing with Christopher Tevez. They were beaten by Albania in the first round. Only the third time Peru have ever played in the World Cup. It was his first appearance. They've yet to win a match in the tournament.
Well, I don't think they really showed their game, Tevez and Gerson, in that World Cup, but I think it's a just team that should be there in the future. And this is what I was talking about. Now he's stretched, and all this started from that first shot on the 2, getting a little out of line on the 3, and then just kind of compiled from there. He's going to have to play short side, it looks like, and it's amazing. This type of shot, very easy to underhit.
From Peru's capital city, Lima, 28 years of age.
I don't know if he got where he can make this in that same pocket. He pocketed the 5, but still a pretty good position overall. May play the cross corner bank. Looks like he can get directly at it. He went for the safety. And did get there. I think he's cut off the jump shot because the 7 has got a little eclipse as well. Kick shot, not that difficult. Come behind the 6. Little draw stroke, try and knock it up the table. Try and get it to that top rail, but if not, you want to leave a long shot. Okay, he's going to get the 6 near the 9, so we'll see how that pans out. Oh, left nothing easy. There is a kiss shot on the 9, but from distance, and it's a shot you actually have to hit with a little speed to avoid the double kiss, that being on the green 6. You know, without an easy layout to open game number 1, you kind of expect a little bit, you know, back and forth from these two players and to get settled in. And you know, I don't think Eric has to bank this. I think he can cut it, but we'll see.
Just watching him there, looks pretty sound technically.
No, he's pretty solid. Gets a lot of power, even though probably not 100 pounds soaking wet, but Eric is just another one of those youngsters that the more he can attach himself to a great player, it's just going to pay a lot of dividends. Of course, play as many big events as possible. And the other thing is, don't miss all the other smaller events in between. You can't replace those matches.
Well, he looked pretty comfortable in availing of that opportunity. And so Eric Roberts wins the opening rack against Gerson Martinez. Race to 8 to get through to losers qualification round at this US Open. So by tonight we will know our 64 players for the single elimination stage. 32 will go through from the winner's side of the draw, and then each of those will play one of the 32 who's come through from the loser's side. And there you can see some well-known names already underway. John Morrow of Canada has won the first rack against Dang Tan Kien. Alexa Peixelge, who we saw in front of the cameras yesterday, has lost the first to Babken Melkonyan of Romania. Dimitris Loukatos there, who did so well at the UK Open in London earlier in the summer. 1-0 down against Jay Aliamer. Swiftly on with it then, on table 1. And our first look at the break of young Eric Roberts.
Well, you gotta like the attacking stroke there. Didn't back off at all, and that's a good sign because it's easy, without even knowing it, to kind of let up on the break shot, especially you know, such big matches here and a tough 2-ball to start.
Far be it from me to analyse a player's break technically, Jeremy, but looking at it there, it seemed that his pause before he delivered the cue was perhaps slightly longer than you might normally expect.
Yeah, you know, what happens is when you get it back a little quick, your brain just kind of has a longer pause. You know, it's basically to slow you down. When you take the backswing a little quick, the brain just kind of gets involved trying to help you out. And so you'll see a difference in pauses from a lot of players, actually, just depending on how the backswing is.
Yeah, here it is again.
Yeah, you can almost see he wanted to take off, but it's just body kind of slowed him down. The mind just, again, tries to help you out. Fell a little straight here. Made a nice shot on the 2. I think he had planned on rubbing the 9 as he went by to give him a little more angle on the 3. Now he's really got to show us some power. And it's funny you bring that up about the break. Of course, it wasn't something we talked about the break, but yesterday after his first loss, I saw Eric and asked him how it went, and he said, well, you know, I just felt my backswing was getting a little quick, and we discussed a few things. Just, you know, you don't want to go crazy in the middle of a tournament with someone, but just a couple little simple thoughts. And after that next match, it seemed like he played a lot better, and you know, very natural to get a little quick. That's just what happens when the adrenaline gets going.
Yeah, he started off by losing to Corey Jewell, former winner of this title. Certainly wasn't outclassed. It was 9-5, which is respectable enough. Then beat the British player Lawrence Thomason 8-2, and then 8-3 against fellow American Billy Gallagher to get to this stage.
Yeah, nice shot there. And I'll tell you, if you want to look at a sign of comfort, to use the crutch right there, drawing the ball over, a lot of traffic moving the 4 up. A lot of players wouldn't even went for that shot, especially early. So you gotta like what you're seeing from Eric Roberts. And there were quite a few players yesterday that are, I guess it was 2 days ago, that felt like Eric would beat Corey. And I think that's a little bit of Corey being away from it. But Eric usually has some of those wins where he's labeled an underdog. Now, this is a part of the game that usually Gerson pretty solid, the moving side of the game. Caught that one a little thick, didn't want the 4 to come down that much. So Gerson a hair off to start. Okay. Got to attack with the draw stroke, it looks like, trying to get in that gap between the 7 and 8 with the cue ball. It's not even close to me as far as who's more comfortable to start this match.
Oh yeah, no contest. The younger man by far. The difference will probably become even more pronounced if the already edgy-looking Martinez finds himself 2-0 down. Really, you would have to think, given the way we saw Roberts clinically taking his opportunity at the end of the first rack, it's probably what's going to happen. As this match is on the loser's side, whoever is defeated will be out of the US Open. The winner will go through to losers qualification and could play World Masters champion Ko Pin-Yi. Well, that would only happen if he loses his match against Sullivan Clark later.
Yeah, well, Sullivan Clark showing us time and time again he cannot be overlooked. super solid player. Seems like a type that never really falls too much below his speed.
And pretty solid stuff so far from Eric Roberts. He leads 2-0. Over on table 2, Lo Ho Sum of Hong Kong is up against another young American player, Sam Henderson. That one is 1-1 in the early stages. Sam Henderson, someone you know quite a bit about, JJ?
I wouldn't say quite a bit about, but definitely a player I've been paying attention to the last 6 months, and kind of quietly had went about his business the last couple of years, but has really gained a lot of recognition throughout the country on the junior side of things, and a lot like Eric, of course, a little younger than Eric, but here to win, not just to get that experience and get a nice showing. And I think you may see the same thing on that table as we're seeing here, where Lo Ho Sum is a favorite, may be a little more edgy in that match than Sam.
We talk a lot about there hasn't been quite enough quality coming through on the American side at the top of the game in the last few years. There's plenty of quantity, a lot of really, really good young players. The question now surrounding them is, can they move it up a few levels?
Yeah, and we're no different. Oh man, really nice break off. The one hit the pocket nicely. The two's going to go down. I think he broke them better actually there than he did the first opening break from Eric. And yeah, it's just a matter of recognizing that competing is great, but there's a lot of training involved, and kind of almost have to ignore winning and different things and just looking to improve. Big shot here, I think. If he gets this one down, I feel like he'll get out, and boy, a lot of heat on Gerson if he does so. Surprised he rolled it. Thought he would go back and forth with the cue ball, playing a little more speed.
It's funny how it's only 1 in the difference, but race to 8 just feels so different to race to 9. And with that in mind, going 3-0 down leaves you with so much to do. So this is a big visit for Martinez.
Yeah, absolutely. And the pockets, they make such a big difference in so many ways. I don't think you'll see the players with these conditions complain about these races. Of course, all the qualification rounds are races to 9, both the winners and the one loss.
Martinez, a number of good results throughout 2022. Had a good showing at the Derby City Classic early in the year. 10th place finish in the 9-ball division there. Won a good tournament in Texas as well. And this year we've seen him make the last 64 of the World Championship. He was 1 match away from getting to single elimination at the Spanish Open back in June. He's had a lot of good showings in various tournaments around the States so far this year.
He's gotten a little flat here. So this is a decision to make. Is he going to play a heavy stun? Trying to get the cue ball out for the 6 in the same pocket. Looks like enough angle. Yeah. And a big shot here. He's going to come 2 rails, and speed means everything. If he happens to fall a little straight and a little flat on the brown 7, he could have some issues. This is going to be good enough.
Well, after being left with the ball in the jaws of the pocket, it was very important that Martinez made something of this, just to settle himself into the match as much as anything.
Okay, this nice shot. Using a little low spin to not only draw it, but kind of kill it as well.
And that ball that Roberts missed, you said if he potted it, you fancied he'd run out from there. Once he missed it, it was Martinez who ran out instead. And closes to one behind at 2-1. Sam Henderson, young American we were talking about there, is now ahead of Low Ho Sum at 2-1. Looking elsewhere in this second losers round. Alberto Gomez has won the first against Juan Jose Rosa Mendez. Nick Malai 2-up on Demetrius Gelatis. And Dimitris Lukatos, quarter-finalist at the UK Open, level at 1-1 with Jay Aliomer of the US. Lucas Fracasso Werner, who's got a chance of making the American Mosconi Cup team, has lost the opener to Ivan Belmonte Parra of Spain. João Grillo, who did so well at the Spanish Open, Portuguese player leading Paul Corrigan of Britain 3-0. John Morra is 2-0 up on Dang Tan Kien. There are also matches going on in round 3 on the loser side, including the one we're watching. Daniel Maciol level at 1-1 with Paul Song. Abdullah Al Yusuf is leading 2-0 against Jose Alberto Delgado. That's a strong matchup for that round. Mark Buysterbosch, runner-up in the Spanish Open, a rack away from winning it. 2-0 down against Manuel Montejo Fernandez.
I'll tell you, Gerson's had no problem with the break so far, and I think he's shown you. I tell players a lot of times that, you know, with the cut break, you see a lot of different little styles or thoughts on how to do it. Cue ball in little different positions. But I think all players need to practice and keep trying to form a little harder break with the cut break. We see Shane and Kachi and a few others that can really unload on the rack, and of course you're not going to use it all the time until you kind of perfect it. But I think it's something that all the players should start to try and put in their game, is that firmer break. Nice opener there, and I think he's gotten himself in a perfect position to come down between the 5-8 for the pink 4 in the lower left corner. I don't know if you noticed, Michael, after he made that out, it was almost like he was pumping himself up, like a little talk with himself, like, hey, that's how we shoot the balls in, kind of thing. And you know, kind of don't be afraid, don't be worried so much, I think.
Yeah, improving signs in this rack that little pep talk has maybe worked.
Yeah, a little funny. It looks like he has to draw back maybe and play the 5 in the left middle.
Unlike Roberts, Gerson Martinez did win a match on the winner's side, as it were, against Ahmed Al-Dalaimi of Kuwait. He was then beaten 9-1 by Si Cha Chen, who got to the quarterfinals here last year. So that put him into round 2 on the loser side, where he went through without losing a rack against Jörg Struska of Germany.
Okay, again, felt a little in between, not a ton of angle to come 2 rails. Not a, you know, maybe too much angle to come 1 rail, so got to force it a bit. So watch out again for landing on the rail with the cue ball and coming near the 8. This could be an issue. This could be a problem. And that's what happens when you have less angle and you have to pound the ball to get it moving. You lose your line and speed quite often. Some would say that's unlucky and maybe a bit unfortunate, but you know, you could see that he had to put a lot of speed into that shot just to get the cue ball moving.
Yeah, he seemed to think it was going to be fine, and he was definitely going to be on the 7, and then as the cue ball kept travelling towards the 8, you could notice he stopped in his tracks with a bit of anxiety. I'll have a bit more of it now.
Yeah, and does he kick? He's got to put a little spin. Does he try to make it? Does he come into the 7 more full, trying to bang it around a little bit, keeping the cue ball on the bottom end of the table? Definitely going to have some speed, whichever. Okay, this cue ball is going to come up. Oh, nice kiss there. This could leave a difficult one. Not too bad, actually.
He could afford to put everything into making sure the 7 went down, because he was pretty much guaranteed to a position on the 8. Still a little to do here.
You can see pretty sound cueing, though.
Yeah, seems to be particularly adept at shots that involve drawing the cue ball back over a long distance. He played another good one there to leave himself with a simple 9, and having deposited that, he goes 2 clear again at 3-1. So all the matches going on at the moment are on the loser's side. We'll have winners qualification coming up a little later this morning. Some wonderful matchups on offer there. And this is one of those loser side matches. Loho Sum and Sam Henderson have been keeping a close eye on it. 2-2 at the moment.
Yeah, that layout looks like a Rubik's Cube right there. Look at the congestion with the 6-9, the 5-7. That's going to be a long game. Loho Sum did get out in game number 4 when he had ball in hand. Made a nice out as well.
It's one of those terms that guys in our sort of age group take for granted everyone knows, but a lot of kids look at you and say, Rubik's Cube?
Well, it's made a little comeback.
It has, actually, yeah.
With those phenomenal kids that can juggle them and solve the puzzle at the same time.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Have you seen that?
Oh, I've got to see that. That's
amazing.
It's
the most amazing thing you've ever seen. And in slow motion, you can see him turning it just a dial at a time. And not sure who even came up with that idea, but I guess it got a little easy for him overall. I think there's one where they're juggling 3 Rubik's Cubes and doing them all at the same time during the juggling act.
If I start to go quiet for a few minutes, you'll know it's because I've gone to look this up online.
Yeah, right.
That is amazing. I have to see that.
Yeah, we used to just try and do okay in a spelling bee, right?
Yeah.
All right, another big shot, just like in game 2. A little different there. You could tell he never really settled the tip before the last stroke. Kind of kept the cue going a little bit. And that's one that you can't say knocks in all the time, but more often than not. Little safety here, probably just roaming the 2 over the 8, bringing the cue ball behind the 9. Should be near the cushion. Put enough speed. I don't think so. Definitely giving up some type of look at the blue 2. I'm surprised he didn't add a little left spin there to not only push the 2 a little higher, but bring the cue ball nearer the rail. Eric's had a few opportunities on this blue 2 in a couple different games to knock in and maybe make you feel like he's going to get a little bit of a stranglehold on this match with a 3 or 4 game lead. Got himself plenty of angle. Now he's got to make a decision. Do I go forward to play the 5 up long? Do I come backwards with the 7 near? Maybe a little bit of an issue. You got to appreciate it, though, right? You can tell the nerves are going a little bit, but he's still, swinging away.
As you said, he often has nerves, whatever the situation, so I guess he's clearly found a way to play through that to some extent. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made it even to the level that he has.
Yeah, and, he's done well in a lot of events around America, and what you call regional events, events that are weekend events, Friday, Saturday, Sunday maybe. And what happens in those events is you play 4 or 5 matches in a day, and, you can hit balls between and certain things, and you start to just get a little more comfortable. But here everything's very magnified at the U.S. Open. Of course, the tables are super difficult. And, he's in a room full of his heroes, and trying to be one of those guys. So a lot going on, a lot different than an event you would see throughout the year around America.
Just to our right here, Hunter Lombardo practicing away. Playing Pierre Francesco Garcia a little later this morning. Lombardo, of course, one of many players trying to force their way into that Mosconi team for the first time. Gerson Martinez, being from South America, doesn't have such considerations on his horizon. He has, though, won the rack to get back to 1 behind at 3-2. Just on that Mosconi Cup situation, we know Woodward is already in. More likely than not, Van Boning will have his place confirmed this week. And you look at all the other guys behind, like Billy Thorpe, Tyler Steyer, BJ Ussery, Hunter as well, and 1 or 2 others. Really, this week, they're not so much looking to claim that second spot as jockeying for position ahead of Hanoi, where the 3rd place will be confirmed. Do you know how many of those guys are planning to go and play in that event?
Well, I know Skyler's going, Billy's going, Tyler's going, of course. Shane Wolford's going.
And BJ's going as well, isn't he?
BJ's going.
Which would be unusual for him to play an event like that.
Yeah, it just opened up for him, I think, and, he's in consideration, right? He's in there on the points. I think he's 6th right now.
Yeah, that's right.
So why wouldn't he be there? And that's always good news. More Americans, the better. And I'm sure Hunter's going. I haven't talked to him, but I just assumed he was. He makes all the big events, and, it's going to be a good showing there in Vietnam for USA.
I think we're going to have an unbelievable side story going on for both Europe and the US that week in terms of playing for the last place, and it's just so tight. You look at, for example, Billy Thorpe in 4th and Tyler Steyer in 5th. It's only $250 between them, so that's how close it is. Every match is going to be so big. And there goes the 9. Well, all of a sudden, from 3-1 down just a few minutes ago, I'm not sure he even realizes what's happened.
Yeah, I think he was watching the cue ball, maybe. That's normally what most players watch after the break. They hear a ball down, and, you think about that with the side story as far as the points. But, what I tell the players, of course, there's going to be someone that comes in 3rd. But that 4th and 5th spot is 2 players, right? So, you got to look to play well, and put up your best game. Show the captain, which is me, of course, why you should be there, and what kind of work you're putting in to do so.
Does finishing in the top 5, even if you don't get one of the automatic spots, count for a lot in your head? Do you find it hard to leave out someone who's been one of the top 5 in the points table, or do you just disregard that?
Well, no, you have to look at that, I think, for sure. That's data, right? But the thing is, are you having a player that's in the top 5 that hasn't done much in the last 3 months, 4 months? They really accumulated early. There's a lot of little combinations and things you got to think of. Form means a lot. That's why we're here at the U.S. Open, and that's why we have Vietnam, to maybe see some form from a player that we haven't seen. and or even better form, let's say. So I think it's a hard thing, and I think a captain a lot of times, just like a player, has to go with their gut.
Remember the famous story of Eamon Darcy, who was trying to get back into the European Ryder Cup team. Decided not to play in the last counting event because he thought he was in the team. Ended up losing out by £57 and didn't get one of the 3 wildcard picks. So you can have these hard luck stories. Meanwhile, back here, Martinez seems to have figured out the break pretty well the last couple of racks, but a bad miss on the one.
Well, that how long ago was that story you were talking about?
91.
Okay.
He went fishing for the week. He thought his place was secured because he'd had a brilliant summer. And
well, it's kind of funny that, you know, he didn't think that possibly if I didn't make it, I might not be picked. I guess that wasn't a possibility in his mind, that person. That shows you how tough these pockets are. And they're only getting tougher, Michael. Ko Ping Chung warming up for a big day after losing his first match.
You put the hex on him by tipping him for the title.
Well, I've talked to some players about him before that, you know, early, you know what I mean? He makes, he shows a few chinks in the armor, especially in the big events, because, you know, he wants it so bad, right? You know, the great players, they're human as well. So the nerves can get going, but once he starts to settle in after a few matches, he's a tough cookie to crack, I'll tell you.
I think you just can't cope with the pressure of being the first non-American you have ever tipped to win a tournament. Although that was because I banned you from picking Americans. Anyway, back here, this one is finally succumbing after stubbornly staying on the table for a remarkable period of time there.
All right, got a little thin here, but has a path around the 7-8. Should be some 4 rails. Nice subtle swerve to get the rail first. Would have been amazing if that one hung from there. Blue 2 has been the issue for Eric. Much better there. And his mark, I think, exactly how he wanted. Oh, wow, he's going to get just inches from the 3 and really no offensive play. Or at least it doesn't appear so.
He's learning a lot in this match, isn't he, about how hard it is in these matches with these conditions in these pockets.
Yeah, these pockets, I think, just from yesterday, from what I've seen, have gotten a little tougher. A little more sunshine out this morning. Something I haven't seen all week. Hopefully that stays as long as it can.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. There was a lot of moisture in the air, and you felt it was affecting the conditions significantly.
Yeah, the players were recognizing it really from day one, I think. It's going to force it out for the side, it looks like.
They're all lining up, aren't they? I've just seen Max Lechner and Josh Filler walk in the room. Darren Appleton as well. All adding to the sense of anticipation of so many really good matchups that we have coming up over the next few hours.
Yeah, so many good that there's going to be plenty of big names that are going to have to win a couple, play 2 matches today probably because suffering a first loss. Little off angle here. Looks like he can go all the way to the top rail with the cue ball if he wants to play it in the side. Looks like he's going to take on the corner.
Oh, that feels like a big moment in the match. Martinez has not been ahead at any stage. He was a couple of balls away there from making it 3 racks in a row. Instead, it's a pretty straightforward run, although still a little bit to do here to get on the 9. And the cue ball is so close to the pocket like that, you have A little bit of limited control over the cue ball. So this is a bit of a tester now. This to lead once again at 4-3. If you want to become a top player, they're the sort of balls you have to be getting pretty much all of the time, and Eric Roberts has potted it. Looked like going 4-3 behind, instead of which he leads once more at 4-3. Let's rattle through some scores then in this round 3 on the loser's side. Jani Sikkanen of Finland 4-1 up on American Michael Jednak. Daniel Maciol from Poland leading Paul Song 3-2. Loho Sum on table 2 is just ahead of Sam Henderson at 3-2. Jose Alberto Delgado level at 2-all with Abdullah Al Yusuf. Alexa Peixels, who enjoyed a whitewash win on this table yesterday, 2-0 down against Romania's Babken Melkonyan. Manuel Montejo Fernandez, who knocked out Anton Raga yesterday, has regained the lead at 3-2 against Mark Bijsterbosch. So they're all going on in losers round 3. In round 2, Jovan Bustamante 5-0 up on Vincent Beaurivage. John Moore, a very good Canadian player, has a 4-1 lead over Dang Tan Kien. And Lucas Fracasso Werner, part of that American Mosconi race, 2-1 up on Ivan Belmonte Para. Nick Malai is a 3-2 lead over Demetrius Gelatis. And another Greek player in front is Dimitris Lukatos. There's a 3-1 lead over Jay Aliamer. Roberto Gomez going along nicely, 4-0 over Juan Jose Rosa Mendez. Let's look in on table 2. It's 3-all now actually between Loho Sum and Sam Henderson.
Yeah, Sam just had a really nice break off, hit him well. Just of course, everything's so random. Hard to always get a shot. Looks like he's going to take on the kick. He's hitting it with a draw stroke, so that means he may be trying to pop this in. You know, and I wouldn't say it's a bad choice, but you definitely want to look around at the push-out opportunity in that spot. Of course, the push-out, that's something that takes time, right, to really learn and know all the ins and outs of it, and you know what the percentages are as far as your opponent taking the shot, what's going to happen after they take the shot, and so on.
Well, I guess there's a lot of trial and error and a lot of experience involved. You try out different approaches and you see how certain ploys work out over the years. You build it up over time.
Absolutely, and it's complex, you know, the push out, all the experience side of the game. I mean, we still see some very so-so push outs, I think, from some of the top players, especially when the nerves are high. I think the brain can get locked up a little bit, and it certainly happens to all of us.
Still waiting for play to resume in the match we're following. Gerson Martinez has left the room for a moment. Perhaps a good idea to do that. He looked like he was going to lead for the first time, but instead falling behind once more. He's back in the room now.
Yeah, I think Loho Sum, I think he hit the scene with so many results there. Whirlpool Masters, of course, and actually thereafter he made some nice little runs in some of the bigger events, and I think he made a few technical changes that I think may have slowed him down for a little bit, but that's how it goes when you're making a few changes. But I think he's gonna get some real benefits from the few things I've seen.
He seems to be one of those players who is more comfortable playing the very biggest names because he's beaten so many of them over the last couple of years, and his record maybe against lesser known players isn't quite as impressive as his record of beating the very best.
Yeah, well, that tends to happen a little bit because when you have kind of like a big, showing in something you're not expected to, he was a debut there, and what happens is you kind of automatically feel like, oh, I'm supposed to beat these other guys, and that's not the case necessarily. Even if you are a little bit of a favorite, it definitely some experience got him there going for that bank. That was a very low percentage overall. But I think you get humbled, you know, after a little while. I think that happened to Tyler Steyer a little bit, having that big win at a young age. Who else? Sufi maybe, with some big runs. And then you could see some aggravation Sufi had in some losses when he felt like he was a favorite. And, you know, so it's a big mental game, and you have to check yourself sometimes. A nice shot there. That was a delicate play.
Yeah, Loh Ho Sum, among his victims on that run to the World Masters final was Shane Van Boening, who just won the World Championship a few weeks earlier. And he's at the table, on table 2.
Yeah, and really could have won that final. I mean, he played well enough. I thought a couple little things got away. Josh Filler, of course, won it. But I thought he put himself in position to win that final, and it was pretty impressive to watch.
Yeah, it was only 9-6 in the end, so the match he lost was one of his better performances, perhaps. And it looks like he's going 4-3 ahead of Sam Henderson. Keep you up to date on that, but back here, a chance for Martinez to put the events of the last rack somewhat to the back of his mind and draw level once again.
Yeah, you can see him taking a little look at that 7-8. It's been a few of those balls at the end of the rack that have gotten Gerson, and here another one, because if he plays above the 9 with the cue ball, he's going to be a little thin on the 7, so speed control and a delicate shot. If he comes behind and below the 9, he's got to have good speed control, because he could fall a little behind the 7, which would make position on the 8 pretty tricky. I don't know. This is on the 50. I think he pulls this a couple rails trying to get to that third rail, that being the left long rail. Oh, he's going with a high ball. I don't know. All right, he got by it perfectly. Boy, that was delicate there. Big sweater with the cue ball.
He just seems to use up so much mental and nervous energy over absolutely everything. If he did go on a really long run in an event like this, he'd be absolutely exhausted by the end of it.
Yeah, you watch him. He spins the cue heavily in his hand before pulling the trigger. Just kind of like whatever to keep himself as calm as possible. And steel isn't the one for him. Showing a lot of heart here, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Was 3-1 down. Looked like he was about to go 4-3 in front. Missed that opportunity, so fell behind once again. But responding very nicely there. And we're level at 4-all in this match in losers round 3 at the US Open. Roberto Gomez should make it into this round, you would think now. He's 5-0 up on Juan Jose Rosa Mendez. Dimitris Loukatos has moved out to a 4-1 lead over J.L. Limer. So that's in losers round 2. And here in losers round 3, Daniel Maciol only just ahead of Paul Song now at 4-3. Abdullah Al-Shamari has a 5-2 lead over the American Keegan Badur. Jesus Atencio leads another American, Kevin West, 4-2. Former world semi-finalist Abdullah Al-Yusuf just ahead of Jose Alberto Delgado at 3-2. Mark Bijsterbosch now 4-3 up on Manuel Montejo Fernandez of Spain. Anyone's match here, it's 4-all.
He's not afraid to unload on the rack. Been pretty consistent with the one in the side. Gonna see a push out coming here, most likely anyways. Don't feel like he's gonna pull out the jump cue or kick at this blue 2. Crucial time in this match. Now the 3's a tough ball, so especially with the 9 there, right? So I don't think I mess with any of those. I know there's a combination you may give up later in the rack, but like I said, okay, didn't see that made the 3 easier later in the rack. Ooh, and he may have snookered himself partially here. I like, when you're pushing out, you have the worst of it. So anytime, you always want the mentality of lengthening the game. And if there's a tough situation, you don't want to disturb that. Mild safety here. Really good touch. May get a little action on the 9 here, Michael, with the jump cue. No reason not to.
Roberts is originally from Florida. Moved to Tennessee with his family about 7 years ago. Started having good showings on the Q City 9-ball tour in that area about 3 years ago. Won an event on that tour in 2021, so still at a very early age then, and won an event known as the Brian James Memorial as part of that tour back in May of this year. Started spreading his wings a bit further in recent times in terms of the events he's played in, and this is his very first US Open.
And Gerson going to the air again. I don't know if he'll try to pocket this or not. Maybe try and hit the 2 in the face and knock it around the table, trying to hold the cue ball on the bottom end like that. I think that's the smarter shot. Just want that 2 ball to get all the way to the end rail. Didn't work out, but I definitely think it was the percentage play. All right, this sets up nicely. Just a little left English. Come between the 3-9 for the 3 in the same pocket. Caught it a little thick to the hole, so usually costs you about a foot a cue ball. He's elevating the cue, so very difficult. Must be a scratch in the side, leveling it out. Oh, he'll be happy with that. Very well struck.
I was asking him earlier, does he have a coach he works with? And he mentioned a guy called Rick Powers. You know him?
I think I do, actually, yeah. I think in Nashville, or I think he used to reside in Nashville. Okay, he's gotten a little thin here. So now decisions. He should be able to come past the side with the cue ball, making the 7 a little easier, but you got to maintain and not try to get too much out of the cue ball. You could see those eyes were very eagerly looking at the cue ball, making sure it got past that right middle. Okay, this is the shot he's kind of been floating a little bit. I think he needs to put a little more speed, make sure the contact on the 7 is clean. He needs a lot more speed than that. It's going to be out of line on the 8, or let's say very difficult on the 8. That actually came up quite a bit more than I thought. Should check the cue ball with a little right side here, avoiding that middle.
Well, this has been very nicely done. Starting to get within a few racks of victory here, but it doesn't seem to be having any adverse impact on him. And still, Gerson Martinez has not led in this match. Roberts with his nose back in front at 5 racks to 4. Daniel Guttenberger 4-2 up on American Adam King in this round. Chris Alexander, who we saw on one of the main tables yesterday, British player, 4-3 up on Tommy Tokov. Jesus Atencio just a couple of racks away from victory, leading Kevin West 6-2. 4-all now on table 2 between Lo Ho Sum and Sam Henderson. And here's one to raise a few eyebrows. Alexa Pejcelj from Serbia, 4-0 down to the always steadily improving Romanian Babken Melkonyan. Mark Bijsterbosch 5-3 up on Manuel Montejo Fernandez now. And in round 2 on the loser's side, Roberto Gomez maybe heading for a whitewash win. Now leads Juan Jose Rosa Mendez 6-0. Nick Malai is 4-3 down to Demetrius Gelatis. Sounds quite Greek himself, but represents the US. And Lucas Fracasso Werner, Mosconi contender, 3-1 up on Ivan Belmonte Para. 5-4 to Roberts.
Yeah, he smashed him. Getting the ball down. The 1's going to be difficult. The 2-9 a little congested. Should see us push out here. And Demetrius Gelatis, he's a solid player from Minnesota. Real steady. You know, if you leave him open shots, he's certainly going to get out on you.
Does he have Greek background, you know?
I mean, he's just got to, right? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, definitely. Okay, kind of sizing things up here. I kind of like pushing out here on the bottom cushion real flat. Kind of serving up a difficult shot on the 1 if he wants it, but the 2 is so tough. Nothing wrong with this, though. Almost always you push out with the cue ball near a rail, trying to cut off, you know, all the different positions you can hit the cue ball. Kind of open, though. Nothing really, you know, easy to tuck the cue ball away. So I'm not saying Gerson will pass this, but it wouldn't have bothered me too much if he did. Oh, no. Okay, pretty good. Thought maybe the cue ball was going to get lost in this lower left corner. Now, Eric has been pretty solid on the safety side of things, so we'll see. Maybe cuts the 1 towards the 5, bringing the cue ball a couple rails towards the 2-9. And this is going to get lost in that lower right corner. And a huge scratch there, especially with the 2-9 being difficult. You know, you want to stay away from anything drastic because you know your opponent really has to do something special to run out. I think he'll go for the breakout here if needed. I think he can actually get position for the 2 by the red 3 in that middle. Yeah, I thought he may just play position on the 2, even though it was a little tight. With ball in hand, you figure to get there.
I was talking to him earlier, and I was trying to establish where he's based now. Now, his English isn't great. He did say Lima. I know that's where he's from originally, but do you know, does he base himself in the US a lot of the time now?
Yeah, well, he comes to the U.S. quite often, or stays here quite often. He stays in San Antonio a lot, or he was. I think more around Texas than anywhere else. Seems like for, you know, the Latin players from South America, it's either the Texas area or the upper Northeast. That's what it seems to be. New York and so on and so forth. All right, looks like he's trying to edge it again, bring the cue ball near the 9. Very difficult. Oh, wow, what a hit. He may even pocket the 9. Aaron Appleton entering the room after 2 wins yesterday.
He's entered it about 10 times in the last half hour. I think he's just pacing and pacing. I can't wait to get on with it.
Well, you know, probably some nerves for him as well. I mean, even without the matches going, you know, because he played a couple tournaments in his comeback and hadn't had, you know, the results. And we all know he's a bulldog and here to win, even though it's kind of a new beginning for Darren.
Yeah, he's going to be playing Niels Fine. There's a clash for the ages in winners qualification very shortly now.
Oh my goodness, how unlucky is this? Played the kick shot to try and get the safety behind the 8. Knocked the 2 in the lower left corner. Did get the cue ball right. Big turning point here maybe. Wow, this is a difficult hit because if you kick one rail at it, the scratch in the side is so huge. You hit any bottom part of the 3. The 6 has got him cut off of kicking to the left long rail. Oh, he's going to come 3 rails at this. No, most of the Latin players have some type of 3 cushion experience. So kicking at the ball is something they excel at. So many players you forget about sometimes because they're kind of quiet and whatnot, but Woo Kun Lin over here practicing, he's a player that knocks on the door a lot and certainly could win this event.
Yeah, semi-finalist at the World Championship earlier this year.
And he's just super solid, it seems like, you know. Just never really plays that poor of a match. I should just come down the middle of the table, 1 rail towards the purple 5. Nice and fluid there. Something I talked about yesterday that I truly believe in really opens up the field is, you know, they play a few good matches and feel that adrenaline, and I really think like a Roland Garcia, for instance, you know, he's 40 plus, but once he gets going, it kind of doesn't matter who his opponent is. He can certainly beat him, and won plenty of tournaments. He's made a few deep runs in some big events at times. Wow, I missed that.
I'll tell you what, he doesn't like that pocket, does he? He's had a few disappointing ones in there. He may just have handed this rack away to Gerson Martinez because this looks pretty straightforward. Run out from here.
Well, I'm surprised he went up and down. That shocked me. I know he's hitting it lefty, so hitting the ball soft opposite-handed is not the most comfortable thing. But if you notice, he could have rolled that in and came all the way to the side pocket or even a little further and had a nice shot at the 8 still. So.
And suddenly, rack 10 is right back in the balance. You could just see Roberts there, and we looked at him a moment ago as well. Perhaps the first signs in this match of the enormity of it all. Starting to get to him a little, which is hardly surprising. Just the history of this tournament can weigh heavily on people who aren't used to it. Oh, but that's a nice recovery.
Boy, if he could shoot that lefty, you feel like he could have rolled the other one in. What a shot with a little inside spin as well.
And so we're level once again at 5 racks each. Roberto Gomez on the hill now, 7-0 against Juan Jose Rosa Mendez. That's in the round prior to this. If he gets through, then in this round it looks like he'll play Kong Nam Pham of Vietnam, who's 6-1 up on Finland's Petri Tamanen. Lucas Fracasso-Werner, someone we are keeping a close eye on as we see this 8 again because of his Mosconi prospects, leading Ivan Palmonte Para 4-1. John Morrow on the hill, 7-1 over Dang Tan Kien. And in this round, Abdullah Al-Shamari of Saudi Arabia has ended the campaign of American Keegan Badur, winning 8-2. 5-all in this.
Yeah, great break off there. It's going to get a little bit of awkward cueing on the blue 2. Does have a shot. Not an easy path to the 3, but gotta like this opportunity if you're Gerson. Yeah, not taking much time. I don't really see the easy path to the red 3. We'll see. So it's been the blue 2, and it's been that upper left pocket for Eric on the shots he'd like to have back. Let's see if he can overcome it here with a long, tough one. I think he can get at it. May have fluked it.
I know it can certainly happen to just your average club player if you've missed the same ball a few times in a match, particularly if you've missed it into the same pocket a few times. That can get in your head. Does that happen to players even at this level?
Nah, I wouldn't think so. I mean, it may be something you comment about, but it's not a real kind of mental problem. But I think that blue 2, when he walked away, I think that had a little something to do with the last rack and not ending that last rack when he should have with the green 6. Okay, big shot here. He's got to kind of kill the cue ball a little bit. Wants a little angle on the pink 4, but not a ton. A lot of movement there. And again, most of the movement, especially with the better players, if it's a constant, it's after impact, but it will creep in a little early and cause problems.
A couple of good players from the European scene just moved within a couple of racks of victory in this round. Daniel Maciol of Poland now leading Paul Song 6-3, and Daniel Guttenberger ahead by the same score against his American opponent, Adam King. Guttenberger from Austria.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with his game, by the way. Going forward with the cue ball, looks like playing the 6 up long. Yeah. Is he looking to bank the 6? Is that what he was looking at position on? Surprising. No, that's going to be a little short. That's going to be a hard bank here. He's got to kind of shorten the bank a little bit. So the cue ball isn't going to be much closer to the 7 than where the 6 is now. Oh, nice shot.
3 times in this match, Gerson Martinez has drawn level. One thing he hasn't done yet, as we look at this bank on the 6 again, is go in front. But now's his chance to change that. Bracing himself for what he knows is a key shot. Yeah, he knew it was all on that, didn't he? If the 8 went in, he was going to be on the 9. Now, has he left the 8, or is the 9 being his friend here?
I think the 9's got Eric a little bit, and it's weird, you know. Of course, I think about all kinds of things with techniques and whatnot and how to improve, but, you know, the 9 ball he knocked in the last game, he fired it, right? I mean, just fired it. The 7 right there in front of him, he fired it. And it's just, I don't think you do yourself a lot of favors doing that, because, I mean, how many shots are you really wanting to hit with that much pace? I want to make a lot of the same strokes from shot to shot myself, but especially with someone who maybe struggles with that with their technique anyways.
So Roberts was able to get past the 9 to find the potting angle on the 8. And now he has this 9 into the side. And so on each of the 3 occasions, Martinez has drawn level. Roberts has won the next rack. He's now just 2 away from victory. He leads 6-5.
Yeah, Sam Henderson and Loho Som knotted at 5 apiece as well.
Another winner to report from this round, Jesus Atencio, 8-3 over Kevin West. And a clash of 2 well-known players in this round, Jose Alberto Delgado and Abdullah Al Yusuf. That's level at 4-all. Alexa Pay-Shelge had a whitewash win on the main table yesterday. He may get whitewashed today because he now trails Babken Melkonyan 5-0. Jan van Lierop of the Netherlands leads Win Kong Tan of Vietnam 5-1. In the previous round, Jovan Bustamante on the hill at 7-2 against Vincent Beaurivage. Joe Grillo also looking for one more, leads Paul Corrigan of Britain 7-3. Dimitris Lukatos now 4 clear of Jay Alimer at 6-2, and it's 4-all between Nick Malai and Demetrius Gelatis. Roberts breaking, needs one more to get to the hill.
Yeah, just missing the one a little bit. You can see, oh, the 8. You can see you get the balls just don't quite open as much when the timing's off a little bit. I think we have some of our winners' qualifications about to start. I think I saw a few of those drawn up, having the tables available.
Yeah, I don't think any of them have actually begun playing yet, but
it won't be long.
Yeah.
Boy, there's just a slew of matches that, you know, a few of them could be our finals, really, or just that great of a third round there on the winner's qualification. And Gerson, really, I mean, he had a few little struggles early, but really it's towards the end of the racks that have really been the problem. And you go through that as a pool player, really, that it's almost very common. You know, I do a lot of teaching where players come up and I say, hey, I'm great the first 6, 7 bowls. And then I seem to make a lot of mistakes with those last couple. Most of the time it's lack of focus. You know, you kind of feel like you got the work done and everything's right in front of you to finish, so you lose, you know, you get a little, like I said, loss of focus. With these top players, I think sometimes it's just some decisions at the end.
Sam Henderson is at the table with a chance to lead Loho Som 6-5 over on table 2.
Nice shot there from Gerson. All right, and the way this kick is set up, you can see a lot of congestion near the rack with the 3, 9, and 5. So most likely, depending on how he kicks at this, which it should be off the right long rail, could open up those balls coming off the 1 with the cue ball. Well, and if you watch that Sam Henderson, I mean, definitely a player that's going to be a world-class player one day, in my opinion. Just real natural move through the ball, and a little unlucky there coming across the 1, serving up ball in hand at a really important time in this match.
We were talking there about some of the matches in winners qualification. One that stands out for me is Skylar Woodward and Alex Pagulayan, because we're talking a lot about Woodward. Maybe this could be the week that, having had so much good form this year, he finally comes through and wins an event of this stature. But then he's up against Pagulayan, who's got so much experience and seems to have rediscovered something this year with a lot of the results he's had. So that's a standout match for me. And another one also in winners qualification that I'll be keeping an eye on is Alban Ocean against BJ Ussery. Because Ussery, we were talking about earlier, someone who's got a lot of good results in events around the US. It's made him a Mosconi Cup contender. But then, let's see how he measures up against someone like Ocean, who's more associated with the international stage and the world scene. So they are just two of the matches that stand out for me.
Yeah, and the way the conditions are, you know, Albin's going to put BJ through all of it, right? I mean, most likely when the tables are tough, you see a lot of tactical play, some push-outs, of course, some long shots, and that's the beauty of the changes that Matchroom and the World 9-Ball Tour has made. The game's back where it should be, and it's going to be a true test for BJ, and hopefully a true test for Albin as well.
Another one that sticks out for me is Aloysius Yap against Jeff DeLuna. They've both done well in the US Open before. DeLuna making his way back onto the world stage now. And the winner of that could actually go some distance in this, so it's a tough draw to have at such an early stage. Anyway, back to this. Martinez. It's drawn level at 3-all, 4-all and 5-all. I'm looking to repeat the trick again and reduce this match to a race to 2 from here.
And it's amazing, again, ball in hand, how it sets you up to just get a little more comfortable in what is not a very comfortable situation, trying to survive in this 2023 US Open.
You might think that as we get closer to the end of the match, particularly when it's as close as this, that a player who was feeling nerves might experience them more as it goes on. If anything, Martinez looks to me a bit more settled as the contest has progressed. And it's a contest which is now level once again at 6 each. Mark Bijsterbosch has won, struggling early on a bit against Manuel Montejo Fernandez. But Bijsterbosch has won 8-3, so having knocked out one player who's been a finalist in one of these events this year with his win over Anton Rage yesterday, Manuel Montejo Fernandez not able to repeat the trick against Bijsterbosch today. Babken Melkonyan is now leading Alexa Pechelj 5-1, so he won't be a whitewash, but still a long way back for the Serbian. 4-all between Jose Alberto Delgado and Abdullah Al Yusuf. Sam Henderson is now 6-5 up on Low Ho Sum. And he's at the table in the next rack with a good chance to get to the hill. Daniel Maciol is on the hill at 7-3 against Paul Song, and Chris Alexander, the British player, leads Tommy Tokov of the US by the same score. Very much up in the air here. Who's going to win this one? Martinez hasn't led yet, but he is back to level terms.
Well, the cue ball heading towards that corner. The two are heading towards the opposite. Is he going to be corner hooked? It's going to be close. And Gerson has really broke the balls well. I don't recall him missing the one in the side yet.
Yeah, he's made something off the break every time. In one rack, it was the 9-ball he made.
Oh, look at this. He's completely corner hooked here. Trying to play the real soft masse, and what a shot that was, knowing you're not going to really get much position on the 3, so all it is a shot to play safe or maybe surrender, ball in hand, or an easy shot for Eric. So showing a lot of heart there with the swerve. Yeah, he caught that a little thick. That's easy to do from there. And don't know if he gave up an entire shot at the red 3. I think he can get a piece of it. Looky there, that last little roll of the cue ball. We'll see it again. as he missed the 3, but watch this cue ball just roll over and just tap the 7. We missed it there on the replay, but tap the 7 into a very difficult position.
And we know it's getting serious now. Shane Van Boning is striding past us and into the arena.
A little out of line here for ball in hand. You may have to bump the purple. Now the good thing is the brown 7 does go in the left middle with the green 6 near. So the 7 shouldn't be a problem as long as he maintains position.
Van Boning will be playing Marco Teutcher, Dutch player who recently won a world ranking counting tournament in Australia.
Yeah, Marco been a very good player for a long time. I'm not sure what he's doing as far as, guess he's going to go forward and bump the 7 here. It's the only thing I could figure. Or maybe he's going to pound the ball over and back for the 7 in the side. Okay, the shot's there. Top right English. Shoot it in the side and go to the top rail and float all the way down table for the 7 in the same side pocket. Well, look at the backswing from Eric. He doesn't have a long one anyways, but when nerves are high, it tends to get a little shorter with players. Okay, this cue ball is going to go a little further than desired, but a really nice shot on the 6. Decent position on the 7.
Yeah, really good effort. Still going to need another good shot to follow us.
And it looks like he's cueing down, trying to get to the right rail with the cue ball. Tough shot.
Just repeat the previous comment. Good shot. Now needs to come with another one.
Yeah, and right on the fence here. Floating, it's not easy. You can do it and hold the ball enough for the 9. There's enough angle to go around the table, but not, super easy. A little awkward cueing. You can see the bridge hand.
He'd done pretty well even to get as far as the 8. Just couldn't sustain it any further than that. Not quite what Martinez would have had in mind.
No, and Eric's got to make a decision here. Most would play the safety. Chip in the 8. Putting it on the bottom cushion, going upstairs with the cue ball. Looks like he's going for the bank.
So his young mind went for the more attacking, fearless option. And it looks as though, as a direct result of that, Gerson Martinez is finally going to lead for the first time in this contest. And eventually, he flings himself at it, knocks in the 9, and does indeed lead for the first time. And what a time to do that, because it gets him to the hill at 7-6. Now, let's see some scores. Jan van Lierop has won 8-1 against Wen Kong Tan in this round. Chris Alexander has also got the job done, 8-3 over Tommy Tokov. Sam Henderson leads Lo Ho Sum 7-6 on table 2. That's been a really interesting contest all the way. And Lucas Fracasso Werner of the US, currently at number 7 in the Mosconi Cup standings. 5-2 lead now against Ivan Belmonte Parra of Spain. Dimitris Lukatos has won 8-2 against Jay Olimer. Lukatos, who got to the quarterfinals in London earlier in the summer. Nick Malai, another Greek player looking to get through, but only just ahead of Dimitrios Gelatis, 5-4. That also is in the round prior to this. Well, there's Earl Strickland, who we saw involved in that wonderful match against Ralph Souquet yesterday, and just about to start against Wen Tang, one of the huge Vietnamese contingent here. So much to follow on this third day in Atlantic City, and this is the match we've been watching so far today. Gerson Martinez needs one more rack to win it.
Yeah, we missed the one, but did make another ball. One's going to end up on the top cushion. Look at the 2-9 looming, though, so this is a big 1 ball. Whoever can get at it first. Not saying they'll definitely play the combo, but it's definitely possible. So probably a safety, kind of hit the left side of the 1, bring it up on the right side rail behind the 7. That way you drift the cue ball behind the 8. Not hard safety, really. One that should be able to get at. Oh, he doesn't want to give up a 2-9. Interesting. The safety was not difficult at all. Actually, more difficult now. So that's a little different kind of thinking there. I mean, that's thinking like, oh, I'm a huge favorite in this match. I don't want my opponent to get an early win, but that's not the case between these two. I don't know if I would have taken that one on, at least not in that manner, but really surprising from Gerson. Wow. Didn't get the draw on the ball he wanted. Tip kind of came up just a little, turned into a little bit of a stun shot. Now the 8 has gotten him in a really bad spot with the cue ball.
Match is now in progress in the winners qualification round. Oliver Szolnoki, former world semi-finalist from Hungary, has won the first rack against the veteran British player Chris Melling. And Joshua Filler, winner of this title in 2019, has won the first 2 racks against Italy's Francesco Candela. Okay, so Roberts has got his chance. Seemed to have the balance of momentum for so much of this match. He's lost it towards the finish. This is to take us hill.
And really no reason not to get out here. All the work down here together to start the 2, 3, 4, and 5, 7, 8 up the table. We'll have to work the cue ball from the 8 to the 9, but talk about, you know, our biggest day in the U.S. Open so far, right? The qualification day, and how about a hill to start us off?
It's had that feel about it, hasn't it, for so much of the match. Yeah, such a big day. This is where you really come into your own, Jeremy, with your amazing ability to watch half a dozen matches at once.
Well, you know, a lot of times we're up above a little bit. Don't quite have that here, but still can see quite a bit going on. And I don't know what it is. You kind of just get a feeling of something going on over here and this table, and another one over here on that table. Trying to watch as many Americans as possible.
Given your involvement in coaching and commentary and everything, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say you might have watched more pool than anyone else in human history.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. There's people, though, that watch a lot of it online, I'll tell you that. And I've done my fair share of that, but some people I know really put a lot into that.
Well, back to the moment, and this has got to be just about the biggest shot of Eric Roberts' young life so far, because here he is playing on one of the main tables at the US Open, and this is a chance to take his match against a more experienced opponent all the way. Yeah, that showed great character. So Eric Roberts with a smile there as he draws level at 7-all. And it will be one rack now to decide who goes through to within one match of the final 64.
Yeah, Loho Sum trails Sam Henderson 7-6 on table 2 as well. That's the Matchroom Multisport.
Yeah, let's have a look at that, because that's also, as we've alluded to there, very close to the finish. And while we're doing that, I can tell you Chris Melling has levelled at 1-all with Oliver Szolnocki in winners qualification. Jani Uski from Finland, a player who I know you rate very highly, JJ. He's won the first against Do Tae Kien.
Well, I rate him highly because he's really gone through, you know, the grind of getting better at this sport and going through a lot of losses, tough losses, and man, I just think he's got a ton of heart and his game's following suit.
Joshua Filler has stretched his lead to 3-0 against Francesco Candela.
All right, big shot for Loho Sum here. Oh, those tables are just really tough. You can see the 3 hit the pocket pretty well. Got the cue ball in position also. So now it's in Sam Henderson's hands. Looking at the rail first on the 3. That's okay. Depending on the speed, you may get a little involvement with the 8, with the cue ball. He plays the rail first. The only other concern is falling kind of straight on the rail on the pink and making it difficult to get onto the. And I don't know if that's going to get there or not. So I don't know if I would have played the rail first. I thought he could just draw off the 3 around the 5 and into position for the pink.
Also in this round, Alexa Pechelge is continuing the early stages of the big recovery he needs. He was 5-0 down against Babken Melkonyan. Got back to 5-2.
You know, I ain't got to watch him in so many matches. But Babken, and I really like his game. I watched him practice a couple different times here, and really solid fundamentals.
Yeah, so many Romanian players showing up at these big events this year.
Okay, Loho Sum going to the air for his tournament life. Trails 7-6 in this race to 8. Maybe tries to fluke this in the side off the 7. Maybe. He's going to lose the cue ball.
And as a result of that, he may be about to lose the match. Don't worry, you're not missing anything on the main table, because I think both players have actually left the room for a moment to compose themselves before a huge rack. And Roberts is making his way back, still waiting for Martinez.
Yeah, not a whole lot here for Sam, really. Just the first two shots, getting on the green 6, the 7 over the side. So again, you have to pay attention to every shot on these tables, even ball in hand. Seen a few of those missed. And he played not much angle here. I thought he would just kind of stop his ball on the 4, maybe pinch it back an inch or two. That way he could run off the purple 5, but now stretched and a little flat.
So perhaps the final moments there. This is the final rack here, and Eric Roberts will get us started.
More solid breakoffs. Watch out, cue ball.
Oh, that's going to be heartbreaking. As you said, it was a good break off. And not only has he given up ball in hand, but the balls are looking pretty inviting here for Martinez. But this is far from over, because we've seen so many times in this match where Martinez has started a rack well and had a chance to win it and then struggled to get it finished. So still hope for the young American.
Yeah, and it seems like when he's had those struggles, though, Eric has given up ball in hand for one reason or another. An unlucky kick on the 1 earlier, a scratch on the break as well early in the match. And the ball in hand ones, Gerson seemed to be able to get out. It's all about this first shot on the 1 to the 2. The 2's a little covered up. And Sam Henderson in a position on the 7, 8, and 9 now.
Yeah, 7 was over the pocket. It's gone in, and really it looks pretty straightforward from there.
I tell you, this is a funny shot coming down the table. I may come across if I'm Gerson. Yeah, a little chip shot in the side for Sam. And again, every match he wins, getting more confidence.
And he'll enjoy his moment of applause there. Sam Henderson claiming a fine win over Loho Sum. He'll now play the loser of Alban Ocean and BJ Ussery for a place in single elimination later today. Back to this one.
Okay, nice opener there with the speed control off the 1. Didn't really use the rail, just drew the ball down. He's got a really open left side of the table, so don't flirt with the pink 4 or any of that. Go on and let the cue ball run a little bit. Well, he went into the 4 anyways, so odds are you don't get snookered. But every now and again, you hit that pink 4 and it kind of carries with the cue ball.
Not guaranteed to finish it out, but certainly couldn't reasonably ask for them to be better placed than this.
This is getting funny. Should be okay playing it in the side. Again, the left side of the table very open. So don't feel like you got to baby this. You can come all the way to where the cue ball's at now.
Just felt as though, as the match has gone on, he's become more focused and absorbed in the challenge and the contest. He's looked more comfortable in these last few racks than he did in the early stages of the match. He's 2-0 down, later trailed 3-1. Drew level at 3-all, 4-all and 5-all. Each time he lost the next rack, but having gone 6-5 down, then in the next 2 to lead for the first time, couldn't get it done in the next. That's what took us hill. The scratch off the break presented the opportunity to Gerson Martinez. He's now just 2 balls away from availing of it to the maximum.
Yeah, watch the backhand, Michael, and watch how much he spins the cue when he's down on the ball. It's just like a nervous kind of habit. Used to see it more often with the players from years ago.
One more good shot, and it should all be his. Wow. You think that meant a lot to him?
I'll tell you, he's got me nervous.
It's hard to think of a shot he could have that we wouldn't have some doubt. But he's taken these well. And now just one more solid shot, and he will have pulled off a fine win over a promising young player. Eric Roberts led for most of the contest. But now with a deep breath, Gerson Martinez gets down to play the shot that can take him into the next round. Oh, you got to pull the trigger eventually. Boy, did he make us wait. He made himself wait. Eric Roberts comes forward with a smile. No doubt we'll be seeing a lot more of that young man in the future. But it's Gerson Martinez who continues in this US Open with an 8-7 win. And later today he will play either Sullivan Clark or Ko Pin Yi for a place in the single elimination phase.